Hey y'all, it's Laura and welcome to my Purge Your Stash series. Now to begin, we are going to be talking about a couple of tips and tricks that I'm going to put at the beginning of each and every video in this series to help you work through your stash, because I don't know where you're going to find this series. Are you going to find it in the middle, at the end? Either way, you'll have all the tips every single time. So the very first tip that I have is to evaluate your space. So you're going to look at what you have storage-wise now and really think about if it's working for you. Is it accessible to you? Is it appealing to you? Do you want to go and dig through those bits and pieces that you have and the way that you have them currently organized? If that answer is no, then it's time to find a new system. Maybe do a little bit of research online and find new options for yourself that do appeal to you, things that you find exciting and interesting, and that's the way you want to go. Now, also in evaluating your space, you want to consider whether or not you're finding things easily. So is it fairly easy to go put your hands on what you need right now? Because if it's not, then your system isn't working. And that is another little layer of where you want to begin right now. Just look around what you have, make a list if you need to of ideas of things you'd rather use for organization. Really break down what is or is not working about your space. Secondly, we're going to define our space. So we're going to decide how much of our space are we going to devote to each individual thing. So for example, single sheets of paper. How many cubes in your cube shelf are you going to devote to single sheets of paper? Do you have a whole cabinet that you're devoting to single sheets of paper? Do you have a bin like this one to devote to single sheets of paper? That needs to be a very defined space, and that will give you a natural boundary and keep you from trying to hold on to everything. By defining that space, you will know that you have a limit. And another way you can define that space and create those limits is to create a time period limit. So this is looking at your stash and realistically asking yourself, how many pieces of paper can I use in, say, a year, 5 years, 10 years? Whatever age limit you want to put on your stash, you certainly can. And especially if you're trying to pare things down a lot. So if you really need to purge your stash in a big way, that's a great way to do it, is to give yourself a realistic timeline. How much can I use in this period of time? And that way you're not holding on to so much that you get overwhelmed every single time you sit down to scrap. The third tip is to work small and smart. And what that means is we're going to be separating things into small sections. We're not going to take all of one thing and try to make decisions on it at one time, because we will get overwhelmed, we will make a giant mess, and we will not want to continue the project of purging our stash. So I would encourage you to use one supply at a time, decide where you want to start, focus on those things, and then move on. So when we're going through the process, we're going to be creating 3 piles. We're going to have a yes pile. We're going to have a maybe pile. We're going to have a no pile. And a really important element here is that when things go in the no pile, they're gone. They don't live at your house anymore. We're not touching them again. Once it hits that no pile, it's done. Its life in your life is over. You're separating yourselves from that stack. So pretend that stack is gone. You may want to put that stack in a box that's a little bit out of sight so you're not tempted to dig through there and try to find supposed gems, because I promise you, if it was a gem, you would have put it in the yes pile. Along the vein of those piles, you want to make these decisions very quickly. You do not want to sit and think and mull over every single piece of paper, okay? Give it a quick scan. If you want to play with it right now, if it's exciting to you, or if it's something you know you'll use, put it in that yes pile. Or for the maybe pile, I would put things that you're like, I think I could use this, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing. I'm pretty sure I could use it, but I don't think it's my favorite thing. I put that in the maybe pile. And if it's a no, those are things that are no longer your style. They are things that just don't appeal to you in the moment. You're not scrapping that sort of thing anymore. Let me give you an example. If you used to scrap a lot of pictures of your kids going to school, so you have a lot of school collections, but let's say your kids are done with school, those collections are not that helpful to you anymore. They can go in a no pile. And that's a pretty safe way to sort out your piles. Now, another thing to keep in mind when you're making those no piles is you need to decide, am I gonna keep doubles? So either yes or no, because sometimes that's a really quick and easy way to make a yes pile a little bit smaller is by taking those doubles and moving them to the no pile. I know that's hard because if we bought more than one of a sheet of paper or a pair of stickers, there was a reason. We loved it. The next thing I would say is, are you going to put an age limit on your stash? So is there a group of things that you bought 20 years ago, but have not used? You've bought 10 years ago, but you have not touched. You need to really think hard about whether or not you're going to put an age limit on your stash. And if those things haven't gotten used in that amount of time, are you realistically going to use them? So ask yourself those hard questions before you start. Separate into 3 piles and then stick to your decisions. That maybe pile is going to just go into your yes pile if you have room and your no pile if you don't. So make sure those are quick and hard and fast decisions. Those are decisions you're going to stick by. And that is how we're going to purge our stash. Now let's head over to the desk and I'll show you what supply we are working with today. So we are looking at collections today. This is going to be the last video for this purging series. And I want to show you how I store them. So all of my collections that I keep together are in 2-gallon bags that I get from a Cherry on Top. And they hold quite a lot. Some of these have full paper pads in them. So let me find one. Back here, I've got full paper pads in some of these paper packs. So that is how I keep them together. And then I have a bunch of storage areas here because I have a lot of collections to go through. So one is in this lovely tote. I have a couple of these. I have another one on the other side for Cocoa Vanilla. I also have some IKEA bins here. These are just drawers. So we have quite a few in there as well. And these are all labeled. I have them separated. So these are Paige Evans. These are some mixed collections. Bella Boulevard looks like mostly. This one is Chamel. So it looks like some of my labels may have been pulled off by the girls. This is a mix of collections here. And then crepe paper at the bottom. On this side, I have a few stuffed into my Calyx unit back there. Those are Cocoa Vanilla, and I use those for design teamwork, along with quite a few Cocoa Vanilla ones. And then these are some newer ones that I just got a few bits and pieces from, but I think I want to keep for kits to make a kit with this as a base. I put those in the front so I wouldn't lose them. And so I need to get that organized, but there is a lot in there. And then I have another unit down here from Michael's, I believe, and it's packed, absolutely packed. So I will be going through all of my collections. This is gonna be a nice long video showing you guys how to break up your collections and or decide what to keep from your collections and keeping them in place. So let's go to the desk and have a look. So today we are looking at collections. This is the last part of my Purge series, mostly because I'm all moved into the new house and I'm doing really well on space. Everything seems to fit, but I did want to do this last part because I think this is really important. This is something that I really struggle with, which is why I put it at the end. Collections. So when I buy a collection, I rarely buy the whole thing, but if I buy enough of it that it feels like a kit, feels like a full kit to me, I'm going to keep it together just because I'm more likely to use it that way. If it's easy to just grab a collection, everything already coordinates together perfectly, I have all the bits and pieces to sit down and make a few layouts, I'll probably keep it together. Now, one of the downsides to that is I'm a very visual person and a lot of my collections are put away. They're in drawers, they're in these bags, inside of drawers, and if I don't look at them, I'm not going to use them. That is just something that I have learned about my scrapping style. One of those things where I keep these little bowls with extra supplies that I might need, that I want to use, that are left over from kits and things on my desk where I can see them because of that, because I know I am much more likely to use them if I see them in front of me. So one of the things I want to do is I want to go through all of my collections. Yes, I said all. part of me was like, no, I won't go through my Cocoa Vanilla and I won't go through any of these certain one collections because I adore them and I'm obsessed with them. And that's true. And I probably won't get rid of a lot of my Cocoa Vanilla, if any, because I am absolutely obsessed with it. But there are some collections I'm okay with. So I pulled 3 collections that I know I need to go through and make some bigger cuts from. There will be some collections, obviously, that I'm not going to make massive cuts from because I still love everything in it. And that's completely fine. I have the space for it. That's okay. But for one thing, this collection, Happy Blooms, is a fairly new one. But I have gotten so much of this in kits and in, like discount boxes and things that there are so many repeats in here. I'm pretty sure I have some of this even in my regular stash. I can see right here I have 2 packs of the same stickers, and yet I have not touched this collection. I have not even touched it. It is from 2021. It is now 3 years old, and I have not touched it. And so that tells me I need to go through this one and pull some out. Another one I have is this one here, which is the Pink Fresh Let's Stay Home collection. This one was very specifically released after COVID. And what I may do is some of these collections like this one that's pretty heavily used, there's not a lot of paper left in here, is if I do end up getting rid of a lot of the embellishments, which I might do because this was a very specific collection and I scrapped so many things with this that I may decide to incorporate some of the papers, if they're left over, into my regular stash. Same thing with some of the embellishments. If I find a way to keep some of them, they're still usable, etc., I will go ahead and put those in my regular stash because there's just not enough here really to keep it with the collections. In addition, I'm going to be going through these with a lot more detail than I did some of my other stash. Why? Because I'm thinking about, am I going to keep this a collection, right? So it's the first question you need to ask yourself. Am I going to keep this as a collection and I'm just paring it down? Or am I breaking it up and putting it into my stash? So that's the first thing you need to ask yourself when you're looking at this collection. The next question you need to ask yourself is, will I use this theme? So this theme is very specifically staying at home, avoiding people. There's several references to staying healthy and staying inside and away from the public and trying to decide, will I use those things? Like when my scrapping going forward, am I going to use those things? So that's something you have to ask yourself the next. So first, am I keeping it in a collection or am I separating it? Second, is this a theme I'm going to use in the future? I see myself using all the time in the future. It's one that I'm going to engage with. For this one in particular, the answer is no. For this one, yes, it's just florals. That's easy to use, right? So that's the next question you need to ask yourself. The third question you need to ask yourself is, how much of it do I need? Realistically, how much of that collection do you need to keep? And I know that it is hard to do that because if we've bought enough of a collection to do this, to keep it all together like this, chances are we loved it. We loved it. And so this is going to be a harder process. Prepare yourself for that. So those are 3 questions you need to ask yourself before you get started. I think as soon as you pull it out, kind of have a look at it, right? Maybe open it up, just have a look what's inside. Ask yourself those 3 questions first and foremost, because that's going to guide you through how much you keep and how intricately you break it up. Okay. So let's get started with this one because I think it's going to be the easiest one for me to kind of go through. Whereas I love that beautiful floral one. That's a hard one to start with. Another one that I pulled is this collection from Amy Tan, which is called Shine On. And it is from 2018. I love the fact that they put dates on this because if this is from 2018, it's 6 years old. And as you can see, I have used it quite a lot. I've got a lot of bits and pieces cut up in here, so I've definitely used it. And I know that I've done quite a few layouts of my dad with this collection because I love the colors. So this is another one of those ones I will probably break up into my stash. Same with this. But I need to go through and make sure that the things that I'm keeping are things I'm going to use. And that's super important. So let's start with Let's Stay Home, we're going to do these 3 collections. This will be a longer video, just preparing you because there's a lot to go through here. We're not only going through papers, we're also going through embellishments, and we might even break up the packs depending on what it is. We'll have a look. Okay, so here we go. We've got quite a bit in here. It looks like we have 2 of the ephemera packs. Okay, we've got the 6x6, which has some scraps mixed into it. Now, I know that I did a mini album with this collection. Let me see if I can find it. Well, apparently I've put it away well enough that I can't find it. So we're going to move on. I will get just super distracted otherwise. So there's a couple bits and pieces in here that I know did not come with this collection, but I was using with this collection. This was during a time when I was using a custom kit company, and they sent me some things with this kit, with this collection that don't necessarily go. I think this is some of that. Potentially there is some citrus twist in here as well, maybe. I'm not sure what this one is, but it's definitely separate. I've done that on purpose. We've got some stickers here. And Pink Fresh stickers are fairly easy to use, just labels and things, so that probably can be used up pretty easily. We've got 2 packs of the puppy stickers, one that's been used a little bit, one that hasn't been touched. And having a look at these, I think this is probably a good place to start. Having a look at these, there are certainly some that I think I could use fairly easily, and there are some that I don't think that I would. Things like pajamas all day, binge watching. I don't normally scrapbook about TV shows because I don't really watch TV. I watch YouTube. But I still don't really scrapbook about that. Things like pajamas, oven mitts, I don't really scrap food. So good eats, not really something that I love. So if I was to keep some of these stickers, what I would probably do is pull my favorites off and put them onto one sticker sheet and then let the others go. But because I have 2 whole packs of this, I really don't feel like I need to keep both. And I don't really feel like going through all of them either, to be quite honest. I think I'm going to keep 1 pack and let the other one go, simply because I haven't used them. I've definitely used a lot from this kit, and I have not used these. That is a note to myself. So again, what I may do there is pull some off but get rid of a whole other pack. Now, these are just some fussy cut little hearts. I will keep those because they'll be useful on anything. These are some teeny tiny little clay style hearts, and I do really like those, so I'll keep those. These though are very specific to the pandemic. I think I'm going to get rid of that. And then we've got our paper. So again, the stickers are fairly easy to use. What I probably will do here is consolidate them to 1 sheet, all on 1 sheet together, and cut them up and try to stick them into a kit to get them used. We have, again, the 2 ephemera packs. Now I'm looking at these 2 packs. This one has cut aparts in it, I can tell. It also has some bits and pieces extra. I will probably go through each of these, pull out the ones I'm going to use, get rid of the pack I won't use, and keep a pack that I will. So we'll do that together. The 6x6, I love small paper pads, don't get me wrong. I absolutely adore them. But they do this, especially Pink Fresh Studios, absolutely fall apart, which drives me insane. I think what we're going to do with this is probably going to go into my stash. I have a small stash of 6x6 paper pads that I use for a series that I'm taking a break from at the moment, but we'll be back to eventually, the quick 6x6 tricks. So we're going to put that aside and break this collection up. I have some cut aparts here. I've got some really nice words on them. I think these will work quite well for some journaling that I do off camera. And so I'm going to put those aside for that purpose because they have some great like phrases and things on them. Mostly I use it for poetry and things like that. Now let's have a look at the papers. First thing I'm going to do is look for doubles. That is always my first step, is to look for doubles. It doesn't look like we have any doubles, actually. That's pretty good. That's good. Okay. So don't have to get rid of that immediately. Let's have a look. This would be a nice background, but it is pretty plain, and I do have several others that look like this. This side I do like, but it has a lot of let's stay home, very feels good to be home, 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 home. I mean, it is very specifically themed. So, this one's tricky. I'm gonna move it to the end while I think about it. This is only a passing thing. A new day will come, the sun will shine, it will shine much greater. I like this side. So I like this color, I like this side. I'm gonna keep this one. This one has little houses and a blue stripe. Not that excited about this one actually, so I'm gonna let that one go. Love that color. And I like that too, so we'll keep that one. This one, again, is very, very specific to the stay-at-home, you know, don't go out sort of thing. Not that excited about this. I'm gonna let that one go. This one's talking about going through hard times. Very specific to the theme, but this I do like. So I'm gonna keep this for that side. Again, the hearts, I love the hearts. Can never tell sometimes if it's a separate piece of paper because Pink Fresh is nice and thick. I'm gonna keep this one. And now that I'm looking at this one, I think I'm gonna let this one go. Okay, so I'm getting rid of 3, keeping 4. That is a good start. We're gonna break this one up. It's gonna go into the stash. Again, this is gonna get added to the stash. We're letting this go, keeping these, but for a different project. And now let's come over here. I've got the stickers. All right. Got our stickers here. And so I'm going to just kind of briefly look over them and see if there's any I just really not jiving with. I'm not gonna scrapbook budget planning. Let's see. Dressed up for dinner at home, binge watching. I'm not gonna scrapbook about TV. That's just not something I care to scrap about. So add that, get that. Karaoke hour. I don't do karaoke. I can sing, but I don't enjoy karaoke. Exercise, we could probably keep. Virtual happy hour. Nope, not gonna do that. Nap time, reconnect, movie night, potentially. Neighborhood walk, I do that a lot actually. This one is video specific. Let's go ahead and get rid of that one. The ones that I think I can use, I will move on over to this one. There we go. Painting a masterpiece. I do a lot of scrapping of my kids' paintings, so that's one we can use. Sometimes the little things are big things. That's a good sentiment. Good coffee, good music, and good people. I don't drink coffee and I don't scrapbook coffee. So yeah, we're just gonna quickly I'm gonna try to make this pretty fast, just pulling up the ones I think I can use. You can go ahead and try to make the decisions quick. But I just don't want to keep ones I'm not going to use, guys. Even though I have might have room for them, I just don't need all of these, and I won't use them. So better they get donated to a place where they can get used. Actually, I don't need that one. Okay, so this one is cute. Count your rainbows, not your storms. That's fine. Nap time, exercise, baking. I think that's good. So we'll keep this half. And again, what I was saying is I'm probably going to cut this up and add this to one of my little bowls here. So I have little sections of stickers. There we go. Okay, so kind of breaking them up into the types of stickers that we've got. There we go. Now, I'm going to take my scissors, and this is going to make them a little easier for me to get them used up. Move that up there. There we go. Because I do have, like I just showed you, little bowls on my desk with things that I really want to get used up. And I quite often reach for those first. So this is one thing I feel like I need to get used up rather quickly so that it will get used. So now I have some this tiny little sticker sheets that I can hopefully use up in a couple of layouts and be done with it. There we go. So that's going to take up a lot less room. I might even put that in my journaling spot stuff. And this one can be donated. And again, I'm just going to leave this off, like kind of just off to the side, because I may add more stickers to this from some of my other collections. Okay, going through the ephemera. Like I said, I was going to keep both of these, so I will hold on to those. We'll go through those in a second. Let's look at the ephemera. Yes, because there's some of these I really think I would use, and then there's some that I just don't think that I would. I think it's very unlikely that I would. And again, we've got some cut aparts in this side that I may also just pull out and keep separately for my journaling. Okay, so things like streaming, I'm not likely to use. Family memories, I will. So yeah, just have a quick look. Try to make quick decisions about what you're going to keep, what you're not going to keep. Now that I'm looking at all of this stuff, I do think that a lot of these are going to end up going into my journaling ephemera, because they're very specific to like day-to-day things and not necessarily things that I would scrap. And so that's why I'm thinking baking together a rainbow. Thinking that some of this is going to end up going into my journaling stuff. And that's fine. That's completely fine. Yeah, I had a whole pack of these envelopes and we're down to just the one. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Don't have a use for pajama ephemera, but these little ones I think I can use. Actually, that one says yum, and I don't really scrapbook food. Keep going, keep going. This is just a little thing. More of those. Video games. Yes, we do video games. I do have some pictures of video games to scrap. Some baking pictures. I have those somewhere. These little hexagons I have just punched out. Those are easy to use. This is referring to online schools. I don't think I want that. And some little tiny pieces that I think I had fussy cut from a pattern paper, probably a 6x6 paper pad. Streaming shows, partying by myself, shopping for my couch, all of the above. That's not something I'm going to scrap about. Slow days, this sort of like floral ephemera for sure. Home life, not really jiving with that. Let's see. Now had 3 of these. I don't think I need 3. And 3 of those. I don't think I need those. Here we go. I don't need another mixer. Quality time. This one's lovely. This one's lovely. Already had one of those. So just really trying to very quickly flip through and keep in mind, what am I going to use? What am I not going to use? Let's go for a walk. Never give up. Again, some of these I really think are going to go into a journaling spot, like a journaling area that I have in my house where I just sit down and have a bit of a play in a journal. It's just for fun. It's not, you know, necessarily documenting memories. It's just for fun. And I enjoy it. So yes, this looks like it was probably multiple packs in one, actually, because I'm seeing a lot of doubles even within this one pack. So that was quick. I did keep a lot of it though, which is, I mean, that's fine. And some of that is, what would I call that? The cut aparts versus ephemera. So about half a pack is going to leave. I did not go through with this specificity on the rest of my stash just because I had so much. I just had so much. And this was clearly, like I said, a collection that I really, really enjoyed and really, really loved, and that's why I have so much of it. So I think what we're gonna do with this one is I think these pieces I'm gonna go ahead and add to my journaling area and use for different projects there. These will go into my stash. Working on stickers now. Again, we want to make quick, snappy decisions about what we're keeping and what we're not keeping. And the only reason I'm going through it with such detail is because I obviously love these collections. They're some of my favorites. I wouldn't have bought this much of them if I didn't love them. So to me, that makes sense. All right, so pulling off the ones I'm just know I'm not going to eat. Things like Good Eats, I'm not going to use that, but like these big hearts, I certainly will. So pull in the ones I think I will use, kind of trade them out for ones I'm pretty sure I won't use. That just makes sense to me. Okay, this looks pretty good. Glancing back and forth, I'm pretty happy with this. I think that works. Okay, so this half will go, this half will stay. But what I'm keeping is something that's very usable. That's very usable for me. All right, so we have split this up. This is going to go back into my regular stash. This is going to go into my journaling area, and let's move on to the next collection. Okay, so here's the next collection. This one is a bit more cut into. It's a little bit older. Hopefully I can be a little bit stricter with myself. Because I do need to make some room for these collections, because I have quite a few in my stash. And they're not bursting, but there's no extra room, that's for sure. Okay, so these have some Studio Calico. I'm not a huge fan of these. Let's just have a look real quick, but I'm not usually a big fan of craft paper, which is something that I was kind of surprised with myself that I bought this collection, or even parts of it, because it's not really my jam. It's okay. This doesn't really appeal to me. So we're going to go ahead and let those go. There we go. And this is even part of the collection. It's just something I put together because this has a lot of craft paper in it, and I don't use a lot of craft paper. That was probably in a box of goodies at some point. We've got some washi that I do really like, so hold on to that. This one's going to get broken up. I can already feel it. I love these hearts, so I'll probably keep those. Let's put keep over here. We have a lot of scraps, a lot of paper scraps, which we could get rid of fairly quickly. What am I looking at? This looks like a mix of embellishments. So let's just pull these out, have a look, see what I've got. I've got the sticker book, which I'm gonna just add to my other sticker books. Got the 6x6 paper pad. There's a couple pages in here that I like, but not many, to be quite honest. They're very, very busy papers. And just off the top of my head, I'm not seeing a lot that I like. So I'm just gonna pull out a couple that I know I can use, probably just 3 in a row here. And I'll put those in my 6x6 paper stash, but the rest, I think they're not they don't really appeal to me. So I'm going to let the rest of this go. So that's gonna get donated. Okay. Paper scraps. All right. This is part of a specialty paper. I don't think I'm going to keep all of these scraps though. I think the scraps are going to go. These are stickers. So we're going to get rid of those scraps. Hold on to the stickers. These would be good ones for a kit in the future, but they're just loose. So again, we'll put them in the stash. That'll be fine. These are kind of cool. But again, they're part of this specialty paper here. And I was apparently starting something and it went awry. So I think I'm going to let this go. Got more scraps that I'm going to let go of. I got a piece of vellum here. Yeah, I just don't, these aren't really appealing to me at the moment. So pull out the word phrases. I'm not even sure these went with this collection. It might have just been something I was using with this collection. So we'll put those aside. Got another scrap of paper here. Let's have a look at the papers. So, not excited about that. I do like this one. It's a partial. I don't normally keep partials, but I may put that into my journaling spot. So these are some word phrases. Not real excited about that. Just some cardstock that can go. This paper I do like, so I think I'm going to keep this one. This one I think would be pretty useful, so I'll hold on to that one even though I don't normally do that. Same with this one. I think this one would be fairly usable. Don't like that. This is okay, but I'm not excited about it, so I'm going to let it go. This one, I do really like this side. This one, I don't have strong feelings about it, so I'm going to let it go. I love the ledger paper, and that one's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that one. Sort of split the papers in half, and that's fine. Now let's go through what's left here. So I've got a couple of clips. These would be really good for my journaling and as bookmarks. So I will hold on to these, just use them in a different way. That's totally fine. Now let's have a look at this mess. All right. So what we have here, this is definitely was from a time I was doing custom kits, because some of this is cut apart. Some of this is bits and pieces that were just tossed in with the kit in hopes that they would coordinate. And there's a lot of stuff here to look at. So we do have some of these flare badges. I'm going to let these go. I'm just not really into flare anymore. They take up too much room. They're too thick on my layouts. Okay, so much fun. Remember, I think I can use that. It looks pretty easy. This stuff I'm less excited about. Orange is not a color I use a lot. We Are United. I don't know that that's something I care to scrap about or use in scrapping. So we've got some, what are these? Like little, okay, I think I can use those. These I have a feeling may end up going into one of my little bowls that has some extra ephemera in it. This says, okay, I'm gonna let that go. Shine I could use. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the craft. Never was a huge fan of the craft paper. Craft embellishments, little bunny I can use. About Us. Don't need that. Again, I'm not sure where all of this came from. Some of it looks like cut aparts. Some of it looks like leftover bits from an ephemera pack that may or may not have gone with this collection. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to try to pull the pieces I think that I could use and let go of the rest. Greatest of all time. We've got a nice big label. Love, love, love. Craft. Not going to keep the craft. Got these little things, which are kind of fun. Here we go. Not really interested in that. This one's a journaling spot that I can use. Mountain mover. That's not really one I think. You will never influence the world by trying to be of it. Okay, that's quite large. I don't think I'm going to use that. This made my day, possibly. Another journaling spot. Love a journaling spot. Got some little icons and things, some little florals. Haha. I mean, maybe. Keep it real. It can go. A giant leaf with no flowers. Can't forget, because the flowers are all in craft. So those can go. I do like these little tab things. They appear to be adhesive on the back. Those would be pretty easy to use, so I'll keep those. I like the plant. I like that plant. Sure, 3 little plants. We can do plants. And then a label. We love a camera. Hi. Okay. A little bit of rickrack. I'm going to let go. We can use a camera. Weekend. Got a leaf. and a flower to go with it. So that's good. And more of these, which again, I think would be easy to use. I'll just put them in a section of bowls on my desk, another journaling spot, a label, journaling spot, party. There, so kind of split it in half. I think we're gonna just pop this into the bowls on my desk there. I have a spot for journaling spots as well. This is gonna go, where did that bag go? So we'll put this back in a bag and it can go. So what we ended up doing here is splitting this one pretty much in half. Maybe not quite, more like a third. This is what's going to go. I'm gonna put this in a different area of my stash, kind of just the open stuff. And then I will put these papers into my stash and we'll incorporate them into future kits. That is the plan. Okay, so we're getting into one of the bigger collections here, and this is one I have not touched yet. Again, it is 3 years old, I believe I said, from 2021, and I haven't touched it. So it's definitely one I need to go through and decide how much of it I really want to keep. So let's have a look, see. Yep, I definitely had this from a couple different kits, it looks like. Let's put our doubles together first and foremost, so then I can compare and contrast what I have and what I don't have and what I want to keep. Okay. So it looks like a little bit of everything, I didn't go overboard if I did buy some of this. So that's good. Okay, so I only have one of these things, each of these things. So I'm going to keep those. I think we're gonna probably let go of the enamel dots. I'm just not really doing enamel dots. I'm trying to use up the ones I have. And Pink Freshes are kind of bulky. So I think I'm gonna let those go, but I'm gonna keep these for sure. There's only one pack of those. These are just cut aparts already pre-cut up. Here's some ephemera. I don't have a full ephemera pack for this collection, I think on purpose, because it's very specific to like birds and things, and I'm not a huge fan of birds, actually. So the way this is interesting. So this is just one-sided puppy frames. I thought it was two. That's interesting. I think what I'm gonna do is consolidate for space purposes, but I'll let myself keep them. I thought they were double-sided, but they're not, which would be why I bought two, or, you know, kept two. So we can just pull these out, put these in here. We've got a little less packaging, taking up space in our stash. Voila, problem solved. All right, now these, on the other hand, I can already tell you there's several on here I'm not gonna use. So I think I'm gonna do the same as I did with the last collection and open up both of them, consolidate my favorites onto one of the packs and let the other one go. And all of this stuff gets donated to my kids' schools and to a couple of shelters in the area. So they will get loved and used by others, which is totally fine. I'm not a fan of birds. If you're new to my channel and my scrapping, I don't like birds. I have a mild fear of birds, actually, that stems from having them fly into my house on a couple of occasions. That was a little terrifying for me. And also some bird attacks when I was younger. I have been attacked by geese and a few other birds. Not a fan. All right, I am not a gardener by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm gonna pull out the ones that are like seed packets and watering cans and things. Just really aren't my jam, but I love butterflies and I love florals. So I'm gonna try to keep as many of the florals. And while I don't love bumblebees, I do find them pretty easy to use. So I will just tuck him in here somewhere. think we're gonna let these little berries go in favor of some florals. Yes, so kind of a trade-off here. Keeping the ones that I like, letting go of the ones that just don't really appeal to me. I like these little word phrases, bloom brightly. That'll be easy to use. And sweet will be easy to use. Yes. All right, so that's pretty good. Kept the best ones, the ones I was most excited about. The lemon can go. Don't need the lemon. Homegrown, I probably don't need as well. I think I'll replace that with the Happy Place one because I think that will be easier to use. So just trading back and forth here to make things fit. I would like to get this guy, and then I think I'll be done. I'm gonna trade him for the potted plant because there's no other potted plants on here, but there's lots of florals. I think I'd rather have the loose florals than the potted plant. So we're making a little trade, a little bargain for myself. Okay, so now this one can get donated, and then this one I can keep. Full of stuff I'm gonna use. That's sorted, this is gonna go. Let's go through the papers. Now this one, I can already tell you I am going to keep together as a collection. Now that I've kind of looked at it, definitely gonna keep it together as a collection. There's plenty of bits and pieces that I could make a kit out of it, just this collection. First up, love a good floral. Don't love the back, but I do love this. Let me have a look though. I would bet money there's doubles. There's gonna be so many doubles in these papers, I have a feeling, and that will make it easier. If I can pull out the ones that have doubles, then I can triples even. That will make it much easier to make decisions if I want things to go or stay, because I will know what I have. And then I think these ones are all single sheets. Looks like it. Okay. So I'm going to gather these back up so that I can look at them for what they are. All right, so first and foremost, we've got these little daisies with this bright yellow on the back. I think we're going to keep one and get rid of one. Cut-aparts. I'm a big fan of cut-aparts, and this looks really easy to use. Plus, it has butterflies on the back. So what I'm going to do is I am going to keep one for the butterfly side and one for the cut-apart side. I'm gonna let myself do that. This one is really nice, but I don't need two. So we'll do one here and one can go. This, I love the color, but not so much the pattern. It's a little sketchy for me. The back is usable, but not that exciting. I'm gonna let this one go. I have two, but I really don't super care for that. So we're gonna let that go. This one, I don't love this. I'm pretty sure I've used this as a background before already, but I love this. This is like the base for me. The multicolor stripe is the base of a collection. So we'll keep that, but I think I'm gonna let this one go. I do love these. These are cute, but I don't need two. I love the purple, but I think we're just gonna keep one and let this one go. This one I have 4 of, which I do not need 4 of, but it has some of that purple again. I'm gonna keep 2 and lose 2. This one I love. This is super easy. I know I've used this for a layout already, and I have 2 more. Yellow, nope, I'm just gonna keep 1 and lose 1. These ones are word phrases. You know what? I've got another one of those. Yep. Okay, so we have 2 of these. These are super cute. Word phrases are useful, but I don't need 2. So 1 can stay, 1 can go. And there's another one. Sneaky, hiding away. Because it's floral, it is a very useful paper. I have a feeling I will cut up this whole side when I do play with this collection. So I'm gonna let myself keep the 3rd one for the floral side. Now we're on to this lovely. So this one has 4 I don't need 4. I don't really like the back, so I'm going to keep 2 and let 2 go. All right, these are the single sheets. I'm going to let myself keep the single sheets. They're just one of a kind here. I've probably used the other ones, so I obviously really like them. Except for this one. I don't know why, but this one does not appeal to me. I don't like that side at all. And this side's kind of so I'm going to let this one go. But we'll keep these 2. Now, this is just the cover. And I actually have and enjoy using this section as its own pattern paper. Or you can cut up the squares into individual squares and make a pattern with that. So that's useful. I will keep that. This one, I am not feeling. So I'm going to let that one go. All right. So of that giant stack of papers, I think we ended up about half and half. Close to half and half. So these are staying, these are going. All right, so that's about half and half on that. And so from that giant collection that we had before, that was taking up a ton of room in my stash, we have downgraded it to just this, which is about the size of the kits that I make. And so this in of itself could be a kit. I could probably get 10 to 15 layouts out of this at minimum, and that would be just perfect amount to keep and play with. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope that gave you some ideas about going through your collections, making decisions. I think pulling out doubles is a great way to downsize and purge your stash, especially if they're not your favorite collections. I would strongly encourage you to start with collections that are either, like my first 2, pretty used up, and it's a little easier to let stuff like that go, and it gets you in the mojo, gets you in the movement of going through things. So start with things that you are pretty okay with getting rid of, and work up to the stuff that's a lot harder to get rid of. And that way you can kind of psych yourself up for the process, get comfortable with the process before you get to the really difficult ones, and that will make the whole overall arching process easier. Another little tip for you is if you just can't let go of certain collections, you can't let go of any of it, that's okay. That is okay. You have permission. I am giving you permission to keep and hoard those things. Keep your favorites, but be a little bit harsher on the collections that are not your favorite, and it'll balance out. So that is my tips and tricks for going through your collections. If you have any questions, please put them down below. I will have a quick tour of the new crafty space up pretty soon. Hopefully I'll get some time to film that while the kids are at school. And until next time, bye y'all.